Aloha 8th graders and welcome to Cooking with Love. Today I'm going to show you how to make banana muffins. And as you're making your muffins today, it's really important that you pay attention to the job that you have to do, whether it's mashing the banana or beating the egg whites. It's going to help it go a lot easier today. This recipe we're making is traditional banana muffins, and it can be a little bit tricky sometimes when you're making them, so I think it's important that you are at least trying a recipe that's a little bit more challenging. The first thing we're going to do is mash a banana, and when you make banana bread, it is a good idea to use bananas that are a little bit, have some brown on them, a little bit riper, they have more sugars in them, and it's just going to make your product come out a lot better. So, peel my banana, and then all you're going to do is you're going to mash it up with a fork. So I'm going to take my fork. It's pretty easy. So if you do the banana masher today, you could probably help measure out some other ingredients, because just like that, I'm already done. Okay, so you're going to set that aside. That would count as a wet ingredient. In another bowl, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate an egg. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to try, I'm going to try to get my egg yolk into this container and my egg white in this one. It's really important when you do this that you aren't getting any of the egg white, you aren't getting any egg yolk in with the egg white. So I'm going to kind of hold it up vertically, this, and I'm letting the egg white drip down. If you get some of the egg yolk in there, it will affect how your product is going to come out for our next step, which you'll see. Okay, that's good enough. We don't want to risk it. Okay, my egg yolk goes in a separate container. I throw my eggshell away, and I have to wash my hands after I touch an egg. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, it tells you to beat the egg white with an electric mixer until it's light and fluffy. It should be very white. You make soft peaks and set aside. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some air to your eggs. Okay, now some people get it to about this point and then they stop. I would keep going just a little bit more. If you've ever had like a lemon meringue pie, that white stuff on the top, what it is egg whites that someone has mixed with the mixer and added air to it. So I'm going to keep going. It should almost look like Cool Whip. Keep going. Okay. And that is, look how it's nice and frothy. It's like doubled in size. That's exactly how it should look. Now you're going to keep these. You're going to just set them aside for later. Okay. Our next step is we're going to add buttermilk and vanilla to the egg yolk mixture. So our buttermilk is a wet ingredient. And when you are measuring something and you get too much and it goes over, you don't want to get too much of something into your muffin. So it's a good idea to measure over something that's not what you want to measure into. So there's 1 tablespoon of buttermilk. Okay, I got too much, that's okay. It went right into my cup. Didn't make a mess. 2 tablespoons. The other thing I'm going to add is a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, same thing. I measure over a different container because, like, whoops, I got too much. Not a big deal. My measuring cup caught it. I put it in here. Alright, so these are my wet ingredients. I'm going to also put that over to the side. Alright, so you can see there's a lot of different stuff going on that everyone should be busy in here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is measure sugar and place it in a large bowl along with my butter. When you're measuring your butter, we're going to use margarine, you're going to have a stick just like this. Some people will come up with their measuring cup looking for a half a cup of butter or margarine and trying to fit it in there. Well, you don't need to do that when you're measuring butter or margarine. When you look on the side, it actually is going to tell you that 1/2 cup equals 8 tablespoons. So if you're going to use a full cup of butter, you can use 2 sticks. We only need to use a 1/4 of a cup, so we're going to use a half a stick of butter. So I'm going to count on here 1, 2, 3, 4, right down the middle. Take my paper off. I don't want to get that in there. Put that in there. And I'm also going to measure up 3/4 cup of sugar. In your labs, you do not have a 3/4, so you can measure it a couple different ways. You can use a 1/4 3 times, or you can use a 1/2 plus a 1/4. That's what I'll be doing today. Okay, my 1/2 cup, I'm just going to level it straight across. And then my 1/4. Now what we're going to do, the next step, we're going to do a process called creaming. And this is very typical if you are making cookies or doing any sort of baking. You're going to cream together the sugars and the butters. So when you're doing this, some people maybe go about right there and say, well, I mix them together. But you got to keep going. Because it actually has to look kind of like scrambled eggs. You're mixing it together, you're adding air to your product. So when I'm done, it should look just like this. Little scrambled eggs. Okay, now the next step we're going to do, we're going to add the egg yolk mixture and mix in here. Again, that's pretty normal if you're making any sort of cookie or muffin that you do the butter and sugar and then you add the eggs next. Now, you're going to end up having some egg yolk left in there like this. And what I would do, use your rubber scraper, you're going to scrape the side and get all of that into what you're making. Otherwise, you're missing out on flavors, and if you're missing out quite a bit of that egg yolk, it could affect the actual product in the end. So we want to make sure we get all that in there. Okay, mix this up. All right, now what we're going to do is get our dry ingredients together. So wet ingredients, get the dry ingredients in here. So our dry ingredients are flour, salt, and baking soda. So we need to measure out our flour. Okay, for your dry ingredients, you need 1 cup of flour plus 2 tablespoons. So when you're measuring flour, you need to keep the flour into the cup. We don't want to pack it in there. If we get too much flour, it absorbs our moisture, and then we can have muffins that are dense and dry, and that's never good. So I always want to get more flour in there than I need. And just kind of go across. I tap it and level it off with my knife. So my dry ingredients are going in here. That's my 1 cup. And then here is my tablespoon. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. Don't forget the 2 tablespoons. Some people forget to do that part. The muffins end up being a little bit runny. Okay. So you're going to take your 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to fill it with salt. I can just level it with my finger, and I'm going to put it right in with my other dry ingredients. Okay, the last dry ingredient I'm going to use is baking soda. I need 1/4 teaspoon. So what I'm going to do is I put my measuring spoon in there, and I measure across like this. I just level it right across, and I'm going to put that in there just like that. Okay, so what it says now first, the next step is add the flour mixture to the batter, 1/4 at a time, and beat with the mixer. So here's what I'm going to do. Remember, oh yeah, the baking soda. Remember, that's going to help your muffins rise. So it's really important you put that in there just that little bit. Otherwise, you're going to end up with tiny little hockey pucks. Okay, I'm going to add a little at a time. There's 2 reasons why I'm doing this a little at a time. First of all, if I add this all in at once, it's going to get really lumpy. Second of all, if I put this all in as well, it's going to go flying all over the place. So I'm going to put a little bit in. I'm going to add some banana. The rest of my flour mixture. Okay, when you're all done, what I recommend is using your rubber scraper. You're going to scrape the sides of the bowl, because I can see on mine I have like some flour, maybe some baking soda kind of stuck to the side. I want to get all of that mixed in there. That's really important that you do that. Okay, the very last thing that you're going to do, it says with the rubber scraper, you're going to fold the egg white into the batter. So here's our egg white. I'll show you how to fold. You want to get all the egg white in there, just like that, and you're going to fold it in. So you're going to go from downwards, up, down, up. Very gentle with it because the egg whites, you want them to keep that same structure because what these egg whites do for your muffins, it gives them kind of a nice crystallized color when you're all done. Okay. And same thing with this. You want to make sure you're scraping your side. I see a lot of you that like to leave a lot of dough in there. It's like a whole muffin you're throwing away. So get all the sides nice and scraped. When it's all mixed together, you're going to grab a container. You're going to put your mix in there. You're going to label it with your period number and class. And then we'll put them up on the counter and then I'll put them in the fridge for you. Tomorrow we will be baking them. So good luck today and I hope it all goes well. Do you just want to look and see if I'm too close or not? I'm sorry. Is it okay?
I can see you from about like here up.
Perfect.
So, good.
Okay, now day 2, we're going to bake our muffin. So you're going to put your little muffin holders in the pan just like this. And here's how you can make it easy. You can have each person have a different color muffin liner, so that way you're not fighting over that one was mine, that one was yours, that kind of stuff. And then everybody can put their own batter inside of the muffin tin. Okay, so you're just going to put one in each one. And if it's easier for you, you can use a spoon, or you can even use like a measuring cup, and you can just put right in there. And you really want to try to get these all even and about the same size, because if you have one really big and one really small, that little one's going to burn and the big ones aren't going to get done. So I suggest to go through each one, putting some of this in there, and you can go back and fill them so that they look as even as possible. You're going to put it in the oven for 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. You always want to start with the lowest number, 20 minutes, and we can add time. They're done when they're nice and golden brown, or we'll stick a toothpick in the middle. If it comes out clean, then your muffins are done. Good luck today.